so she offered to come to the conference, and I was like, wow, that'd be great. So she brought some of her animal friends. I met you a couple of semesters ago when you were first dealing with all the fox rescues. And she was dealing with rescuing animals, and she's going to talk today a little bit about the animals that she's rescued, what she does now, and also a little bit about responsible ownership of exotic animals. And so I'll go ahead and turn it over to Angel. Thank you, Angel.
You talk loud. Yeah, I talk loud. So you guys can hear the mic though, right?
Yeah.
No.
Did you try that?
Where did that guy?
It says on. I feel like I hear me, but I don't know.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I don't
I'm also with technology. I just do a lot.
There's one that wants out right now.
Oh, they all want out.
Oh, she can do that. No, that looks like a paw.
Mountain lion, got my glasses. It's a fire.
It's a sky.
This is not how you rescue. This is not how you rescue.
I hear something.
I think it's working.
Okay. As she stated, my name is Angel Renee Hobart-Lips. I am licensed with the Ohio Department of Agriculture, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. Essentially what we do is we're a licensed rescue where we take in non-releasable wildlife. These are animals that are born in the wild, but due to parasites, injury, orphaned wildlife, stuff like that, we can legally take them in and care for them and raise them as sanctuary animals for educational purposes like this. We can go into elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, college facilities, fairgrounds, you name it, we can be there due to our licenses and our knowledge and credibility with these animals. Exotic animal ownership is something that I take very seriously. Not only am I a licensed rehabber, I'm also a licensed non-releasable wildlife volunteer, but I also own exotic animals. I'm hiding, I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is bring out a couple of my babies and then a couple that belong to the state of Ohio. This is Stinker Butt. Stinkers is turning 4. She is a descented skunk. She is a black and white striped skunk. These are what you guys would see either walking around in your backyard, dead on the side of the road, on Facebook when people complain about their dog getting sprayed, whatever. These are probably the absolute best exotic pet you can own. I am 100% for captive-born wildlife and the rescuing of those animals in USDA facilities. AZA also, which is zoos. Stinkers, as I said, she'll be turning 4 in July. She is a captive-born, farm-raised pet skunk. She was not born in the wild. In the state of Ohio, you cannot legally rehab or rescue a skunk. They have to be descented before you obtain the animal. Therefore, a licensed rehabber cannot legally own or take care of a skunk. They have to be euthanized, even if they're 10 minutes old, 1 day old, 1 week old. It does not matter if they're orphaned, injured, or anything. You cannot take care of a wild-born skunk. Stinkers was descented when she was a week old by her breeder. Then she was sold at 2 weeks old as a bottle baby where I raised her. I am her mom. She bonds to people. Skunks are really awesome. In the wild, they can only see up to about 3 feet in front of them. They waddle like a penguin, even though they're not. They have really short legs, and they don't have any back toes, which is really, really funny. So, as far as adaptations go, they're kind of a goofball, and they shouldn't exist. But the reason why they do is because of this. silly because there's nothing there. It's like wearing a wig. Other than that, they have a really bad sense of hearing. They have a good sense of smell, and they have long claws, much like what you would see on a sloth. They are ground mammals, so they dig, and they dig up roots, worms, bugs, trash, anything they can find. They're omnivores, so they eat everything, mostly plant-like. And they're pretty coarse furred. A lot of people do trap them. Anybody in here ever hunt or trap or go fishing? Everybody's shy. You don't participate. Okay. Whenever you do that, you have to pay a fee to the state of Ohio. When you pay that fee, you are donating money to wildlife conservation in the state of Ohio. That money goes back into the census and study of these wildlife and wild-born animals. Stinkers, however, is captive bred, and she is the most spoiled thing ever. So you're not exactly donating any money into her. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a skunk up close, especially one that's not as lethal as what you might smell when you're driving down the road. All right, that's stinkers. And then just bear with me as I'm getting them in and out of their crate. These animals are free roam, usually in my house or in their zoological enclosures, so they're not used to exactly being in crates. What's up?
I didn't understand. Do you have to have a special permit to acquire stinkers?
It depends. For Stinker, since she's a captive-born, farm-raised skunk, she requires a ODNR propagation license, which means that you can legally own a fur-bearing mammal. You can legally own these fur-bearing mammals, whether it's their pelt, which means their skin, or the alive animal. The state of Ohio is really nice. We're one of the only, I believe it's 22 states that you can own exotic animals, skunks being one of them. Recently, we just got foxes legalized in Tennessee, which is awesome. So now you can own captive-born foxes in now another state that allows it. So being able to own skunks with Ohio does require a permit and a license, which involves inspections by your Trumbull County, well, but your county game warden. This is Mika. She is a wild-born, rehabilitated, and rescued raccoon. She was orphaned. She was raised by me. She was found near her dead mother. She was so infested with worms that it was put to me as, Angel, don't get attached to her, she's gonna have to be put down. And I said, dang, okay. I took in 9 orphaned raccoons last spring, and only 2 of them lived. In the wild, once we rehab these animals successfully, it's called successing when you let them go free after rehabbing them, they have a 25% chance of living. 25% chance of living out of 100 or 50% chance of living is literally this big. These animals are better off being raised in pretty much sanctuaries or non-releasable facilities. What we do with Stinkers is we take her amongst Ohio and the Michigan area to, thank you, to bring people's awareness to how adorable she is. Raccoons taken from the wild is absolutely positively illegal. You can face jail time and you get fined $5,000 per animal that's taken illegally from the wild. I hear all the time, oh, I had a pet raccoon, we found it in my garage, and blah, blah, blah. And I go, don't tell me that. Just don't. The 2 ladies got arrested last week for owning 3 wild-born raccoons that were obtained illegally, of course. They were found in her shed. And she got fined, I think it was $25,000, and now she's going to be in jail for 10 years. Is that worth it? Morally, taking care of the animal, absolutely. You should take care of the animal, but not illegally. Other than that, Mika is not owned exactly by me. I am only a volunteer that can care financially and pretty much emotionally for her. The state of Ohio owns her, and at any time they can say, hey Angel, I need need to take Mika and I need to put her in this sanctuary up in Toledo or down in Columbus, and I have to say, okay. Because she is a warden of the state and she is a educational ambassador, which is really awesome. And she's super amazing. But raccoons are awful pets. Awful as in, it's like a 2-year-old on steroids who can climb, who's extremely athletic with claws. They can open fridges, they can turn on the water. So when you come home from work and you're all tired and you just want to relax, and you realize that your kitchen is now flooded, your fridge is now raided, and you have no food to really think of. And your water bill is going to be super high because now you have a swimming pool in your house. And it's all because raccoons are so darn cute. But yeah, this is Mika. Getting her back in here. Oh. Oh, she's a hairstylist. Don't let her fool you. All right. Let's try this.
How does Mika and Stinker get along?
They get along fine. Mika actually will groom Stinkers. All of our animals at Fox and Family are brothers and sisters, even though they're not actually related in the same taxophylum or however scientific names. They're not part of the cute animal cuddly group. Like, you're not a skunk, I'm not a skunk, but we're brother and sister anyway. That's a part of our big thing that we work on is the harmonious exposure to all the animals all together at once. Now, of course, there's going to be situations where you can't own certain animals together. A lot of people say foxes, oh, they eat chickens. Well, if you ask me, that's a bunch of crap. Of course foxes eat chickens, but foxes actually are more omnivores where they eat more plant life than they do meat. Foxes really only hunt when they have to. This is Rivers. He is a captive-born silver fox. He was actually rescued from a fur auction. He was to be sold and killed for his fur. I wear it like this. Riff is turning 3 this spring. He has a lot of health issues because he was inbred. We don't really care too much about their genetic makeup when all we care about is cutting them open and sticking them on the lining of our coats. If you're not for fur fashion, definitely look into #MakeFurHistory. It's on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see a bunch of my pet foxes. I own 16 pet foxes legally through USDA and ODNR. We're also established and licensed breeders for the pet trade, educational purposes, and zoological exposure. Riff is a silver fox. That is not a species. That is a type of red fox. So it'd be the same as, say, a rabbit. Rabbits can be born white, black, gray, brown. He's just the blackish silver color of the red fox. They were started out breeding in Russia and in Germany. Hitler was actually one of the people in the forefront. Hitler wasn't all bad. He was a good guy until he went nuts. He started the genetic breeding of the purebred German Shepherds and a lot of the big livestock cattle that we see. And he was part of the domestication of the silver fox. A little bit about Riff. He is also a exotic animal ambassador. We take him on photo shoots with photographers, local and amongst Michigan. If you go on our Facebook page, Fox and Family Exotics, you'll see Riff everywhere because he is the bee's knees. He's super sweet. I can do anything with him. He won't do anything. He won't eat your chickens. He actually lives with a chicken and a micro-mini pig. He has a squirrel as a brother. He has 2 hairless cats, brothers and sisters, a blind cat. He has a wolf dog sister. He has a hairless dog brother, all kinds of stuff. And of course, Mika and Stinkers like you've seen. Other than that, foxes in the wild usually only live about 3 to 4 years. Captive-born foxes live anywhere from 15 to 25 years. It just depends. Let's see. Riff is, like I said, a silver fox. His genetic makeup, well, he'll probably live to be about 15. But red foxes in the wild, due to trapping and being hit by a car in the lake with the I'm sorry, I lost this train of thought for a minute. With them being out and amongst not the treatment of veterinary care, sorry. It makes it so they die easily of pests or whatever they're called, worms, and ticks, and stuff like that. This is a baby fox. See, my concentration goes out the window because I think of my fat little furry potato with a face. She is a captive-born red type fox. She is a marble. You can tell by the marbling color. This is a human-bred, farm-raised color. They specialize in this for fur farming. Thankfully now, a lot of our fur farms in the United States have been shut down, but they are not illegal and they are not banned. In Canada, they started banning fur farms. We need to start making that happen here. There's no reason why we're having animals bred and born to be killed in small cages. 3 foot by 3 foot is the regulated size to be raised, to be cut up and put on outfits. This isn't an outfit. This is a cutie pie. She's the same thing as Rip is, captive born. She'll probably live anywhere from 15 to 20 years. Legally in Ohio, you can own them as pets. That's one of the things that we do. And as far as owning exotics, there's nothing wrong with it. She's 2 weeks old. Actually, she just turned 3 weeks old. And she's being bottle raised. We do pull them from their mother, so they get the human exposure and experience, and we get the experience of raising them. They bond to people. They are not like cats and dogs at all whatsoever. They're the same as a raccoon, like a really, really athletic human mutation with an attitude. Foxes are very, very spazzy. They definitely have a personality more of like a diva. Other than that, do you guys have any questions or anything?
How was Mira's vision?
A fox's?
The other fox, how was his vision?
Well, because he does have health issues. Rick has bladder stones. He will accumulate them every year. When he was a year old, he had one that was about the size of my hand removed from his bladder. With that, he was poisoned twice. Me and my boyfriend, Brian, we bought a house, and we thought it was a great opportunity for us and our animals, but a neighbor poisoned some of our foxes and shot one, and Riff was poisoned twice. He, with our amazing vet, Riff lived. So that's why it's awesome I can bring him here. But his eyesight isn't the best. He does have kind of a cataract. It's a symptom of the brain bleeds that he experienced with poisoning. Rat poison, what it does is it breaks down your insides. It makes you eternally bleed out. Riff suffered from brain bleeds. Riff for a while had neurological problems where he would know his food dish was here, but he would bite over here. Sometimes when he's excited, he does experience those symptoms. But that is a good example of the bad people in the world. It's not animals that people need to be afraid of. It's people. And I think that's my biggest thing with being able to bring these animals to you is people think, oh, raccoons, they have rabies, or oh, foxes, they kill livestock, and that's not the case. It's people who, they just need to work on themselves. But to answer your question, sorry. Foxes do have really good eyesight. They have slit pupils rather than round like a canine. Foxes are more related to weasels and feline than they are canine, even though they're in the wild canid family. They're vulpes, but like I said, more related to like a ferret or a mongoose, in the same kind of taxophylum as hyena. But of course, we're in, America, not Africa, so they're not as cool as a hyena. But Like I said, they have the slit eyes, which is more like the feline style vision. Other than that, skunks, raccoons, they all have the circular type canine vision, like what we have, it's circular. As you guys seen, I'm sure driving at night, you see their eyes reflect. They have reflective vision, so they can see better at night. This is an adaptive trait that they obviously have picked up for the wild to be able to hunt and see and den. They live underground, most of these mammals do. Raccoons are tree mammals, they do live in trees. They're like the North American lemur, but they don't lean or bound. They just climb and stuff. Other than that, do you guys have any questions or anything?
Are the foxes friendly when you have like people over? Like, is it a friendly animal?
Okay, so if you go on our Facebook page, it's Fox and Family Exotics. You'll see Rip at the top, and our profile picture is Megan. Megan was our three-legged fox. She was social, but she was not tame. She was raised on a fur farm, had minimal human contact. She was friendly, but she would not mind ripping your kneecap off, essentially. Rip wouldn't bite ever. It's all about how they're raised. A lot of people bash pit bulls because, you know, they're vicious. Same with English Mastiffs. A couple years back, one mauled a woman to death. Obviously, there was something wrong with that dog or with the person it mauled. I think it was the person. But an animal raised with human contact like this, like I have a 2-year-old baby sister, she interacts with all these animals, and Mika is her #1 best friend. My sister and that raccoon are goofballs together. I also have a fox squirrel, and he's the same exact way. He's actually more of a groundhog puppy dog because he's so fat. But overall, as long as they're bottle raised and raised with humans or raised appropriately, they are social and friendly. That is why it is so hard to rehabilitate an animal. If I was to take Mika and raise her and try to rehab her, I would have to do things to make her hate people. I would have to do things like bang things together to make loud noises to make her afraid of me. I would have to splash her with water. I would have to show no affection to her. I personally can't do that. I can't. That is why Mika lives with us. Rather than giving up on her like I was encouraged to do, I was like, no way. This is a part of my family. Oops, sorry. This is part of my family, and she's gonna stay that way. And she's been definitely a key asset in Fox and Family Exotics and with the education that I can bring forth to people and children and stuff like that. Anything else? Yeah.
Did you tell me anything about relocating these type of animals in the state of Ohio?
Good question. That is all ODNR, so Ohio Department of Natural Resources. What you're going to want to do if you do ever have a problem with an animal, say, digging up underneath your porch or in your garage or obstructing your life in some way, you definitely want to get on their website. It comes up right at the top of the page. You want to click on that. You want to go to your district. Sometimes it's not even that fancy. If you just call the number, people will put you forth to get in contact with pretty much people who are licensed to move the animals safely. Or you just want to know your laws to see what you can and cannot personally take care of yourself. Environment's a varmint. People are going to take care of animals the way they choose, if they want to shoot it or not. ODNR can't really govern that unless you are poaching and doing something illegal. But you definitely want to check in on those laws. I don't encourage killing an animal at all for any reason. That's why I save them from being hoodies and stuff. But definitely want to get involved with contacting at least your local game warden. Other than that, like I said, wild animals are wild animals. Because they are captive born, that means they are domesticated. There's a big difference between a wild fox and a domesticated fox. As you can see from the colors, you would probably never see a color like Riff in the wild unless you were in Alaska and Canada. The reason why you would see them in the wild up there is because they escaped from fur farms. It's a natural occurring, it's a recessive gene essentially. But marbles, like the little kit that I brought out, baby foxes are called kits, not cubs or pups. That drives me bonkers. Just so everyone is So where kits are part of the fox family, when raccoons are born, they're pups. When skunks are born, they're kits. Cubs belong to felines or bears. Someone wants out again. And pups are anything in the canid family, besides the foxes. Other than that, you guys have anything else? I'm all about weird questions too.
Rabies awareness.
Rabies awareness. Don't touch it. If it's wild, don't touch it. If it's dead, don't touch it. If it's growling at you, don't touch it. Possums are one of the animals that don't carry rabies as much as people think. People think because possums are ugly and scraggly and gross and their mouth is always open that they have rabies. The percentage chance of a possum carrying rabies is actually 15 out of 100. So if you do get bit by a possum, good for you. You just got bit. That's pretty much what's happening there. Raccoons, however, they have a 75% chance of carrying rabies in the wild. Foxes are in the lower percentage at like the 30 to 40 because of the census being so low. There's also different kinds of foxes in Ohio. We have the standard red and we have gray foxes. In more of mid-eastern United States, we have swift, and then in the desert we have fennec foxes. Those are the cute ones with the big ears. If you guys do notice a funny smell, foxes naturally give off a really skunky, ferrety odor. They have glands in the back of their ears, the tops of their shoulders, the tops of their hips, and the back of their tail. This essentially says, hey ladies, I'm single. Or it says, hey guys, I'm a foxy lady. Skunks do it too, but they do it through their spray. Stinkers has no odor at all whatsoever, except for if she's just a dirty skunk and I haven't bathed her in a long time. She does get that kind of like dog smell, but she does not smell like a skunk at all, ever. And that's just because the glands have been removed. Raccoons do kind of have a smell. It's much like a cootamundee, which is a South American raccoon. I have one of those. I don't know if you guys have ever even heard of them. They have a long nose. A lot of people think they're anteaters, but they have a real sweet, nutty smell. Other than that, is there any other questions? Yeah.
I've always heard that there are.
Not always true. People say that about foxes too. Like I said, I have 16 of them. Usually they sleep all night and are up all day. Especially when they're raised in the house, they have the same kind of ability or what have you, the right wording, to stay awake as a person. So a person who works night shift, they're going to sleep during the day to make up for the sleep that they're losing at night. Animals do the same thing, but they're using that in their advantage to hunt and den and take care of their offspring if they're in the wild. If they live in your house or are captive born, legally owned pets, they're going to pretty much have the same routine and lifestyle as you because they are looking after you. So it's all kind of just a matter of what they're used to. So when they say nocturnal, nocturnal doesn't always mean nocturnal, but it just depends on what you're dealing with in the respects of wild born or captive born. It just depends. Is there anything else? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm kind of new at this. This year, I've had my first litter. That's what that little female came out of. She was out of 2, a brother and a sister. I had another litter born. That's 4. There's 3 marbles and it looks like 1 red. As far as the lineage of their parents go back, it's been over 70 to 100 years bred in captivity. So things that you're looking at as far as the differential between a wild fox and a captive-born pet fox or domesticated fox is their color, their head shape. When they are wild, they're more streamlined and narrow. Their bodies are much smaller. So a red fox, you're talking, it's probably in between 5 to 10 pounds, where a captive-born red fox or what would be a marble or a silver, they're going to have much longer legs, much shorter tails, and they're also going to weigh anywhere from 15 to 30 pounds. It just depends on their lineage and how long they've been bred in captivity. And also things like tail curling, rather than their tail curling down with the white tip at the end, you'll see them curl up, much like a pug or a husky would. That's a good sign of how much bred in captivity they've been. which also means that they've been bred longer on fur farms because that is how foxes were started breeding for the pet trade, is through fur farms. So it's kind of a bad, good thing because we know where they came from, but we know where they can go and be better. But like I said, wild animals, as a category, they're not for everyone. If you're gonna get an exotic pet, I recommend a skunk. They are more like a cat, but never compare an exotic animal to a domestic animal like a cat or dog, just because they simply aren't. I mean, a skunk is more of like having a really grumpy old woman as a pet. I just want to eat. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll cuddle. Okay. And then she goes and does her own thing. They're extremely easy to potty train. They're like a ferret. They're corner poopers, which is what I call them. They see a corner, they want to go potty in it. So when you have them as babies, you have a litter box, you put their poopy in the corner, done. You're set for life. It's perfect. Foxes, not so much. If it's theirs, they're going to poop or pee on it. If they have a bowl of their dog food with their raw meat inside, they're pooping on it because it's theirs. It's like a thing. Like guys. Guys are gross. Foxes are gross. Other than that, raccoons are just weird. All she does all day is play with the food, and then she eats it. And then she'll play with it some more, and then she'll eat it. She doesn't do anything gross like poop on it, though. Sometimes she'll roll in it, but that's because she's too silly. Yep. All of my pets are litter trained, but like I said, foxes are special. Yeah, they're. If you're gonna get a fox, you're gonna change your whole life, and you're gonna be a fox parent from that point on. But other than that, is there any other questions or anything? Yeah.
Can the fox be descended?
You can degland a fox, much like you can a ferret. It is extremely painful on the animal. You are removing it off the back of the head, off the tips of the shoulders, off the back of their hips, and off the front of their legs, and on the tip of their, or the base of their tail. So, I don't know, that's a lot of counting, but that's a lot of spots where you gotta cut open and take out a scent gland, which would be like cutting our armpits out. And I don't think you guys want your armpits cut out. That would be awful. I do own a fox that was deglanded. He has no odor at all whatsoever. He also was defanged, so they took out his teeth. So he pretty much eats like an old man, and his food falls out of his mouth. Luckily, he has a mate who will bring her food to him. But you can definitely see the struggle because people take an animal, much like declawing a cat. Now that cat can't jump on things. Now that cat can't protect itself if need be. So you just took a fox and you just cut its teeth out and you cut half of its body parts off, and now it's kind of like, wow, that's nice.
He's 5 years old, and he moves around like he's 15, 20 years old. You can tell that he feels it when he walks.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely see. He just, like he said, he acts much older. And we call him our perverted old man because his name's Anderson Cooper. He's a cute one. Yeah, we have foxes of all kinds of different backgrounds and stories. We've rescued a bunch from being killed for their fur. We rescued one that was being sold from a zoo in PA that just didn't want him anymore because he was trouble. He dug out of his enclosure all the time, and they would rather see him go to a fur auction than to a good home. But luckily he landed with us, and his name was Caveman, and he was awesome. He was one of the ones who died this past August from the poisoning. Other than that, we had one that had 3 legs. Part of having exotic animals is things can happen, much like if somebody lost their dog down the road and you see that Facebook post that says, "Help me find my dog." Well, it's really awful when you're the owner of an exotic animal and you represent exotic animal ownership, but you have to make that post that says, "My fox got out because a tree destroyed her enclosure during a storm." And down the road, somebody mislabels her as a wild coyote, even though she's white. Well, this is what she looks like. But she's white and out during the day, much like you brought up. So they think that she's not only a coyote, but a feral coyote that has rabies. So the guy shot her. So she ended up with 3 legs. I have a really awesome vet. He worked at the Columbus Zoo, and he just kicked butt all around together. He saved her life, and so she had 3 legs. Anderson's deglanded, has hardly any teeth. Riff has all kinds of silly bladder stones because he was so inbred to the point where every year we were going to have bladder stones removed. That's part of the thing in getting into rescuing is you don't know what you're going to get. It's kind of like hit or miss, but it's worth it. 110%. Any more questions or anything? I hope you guys learned a little bit about what you can see in your own backyard or what you see on TV, and a little bit more of captive-born wildlife. What's up?
Are there warrior wolves in the area?
Coy wolves are pretty much non-existent in this area unless they're being bred. We own a mid-content wolf dog. I have a breeder friend who breeds coy dogs. You can breed the two together and get a wolf dog,
But
coyote, monster, animal.
Won't find them in the woods though, really.
Huh?
Won't find them in the woods really.
No. There is, where I live, coyotes are bad. I've lost pet goats to them. And with that, we had a German Shepherd that was someone's pet that ran with the pack and bred. So then we had coyotes literally this big, this long, and then when my little brother and sister are playing in the backyard and they go, look, a puppy, and it's like, get in the house. No, because these things are huge, they're aggressive, they're fearless, they're not afraid of people at all. That's definitely a danger, especially with these feral dogs or people's pet dogs who get lost or they drop them off or whatever. Once they start breeding in to wild animals, you can come out with monsters. And that's bad to say about an animal, but it's also a human problem. It's our fault why these animals are exposed this way. Anything else? I feel kind of silly.
Well, and thank you for bringing your friends.
Yeah, thank you.
And hopefully you guys learned a little bit about the different animals. Of course, it's always fun to see little babies.
Oh.
So those are cool. So let's give her a
If you didn't have a chance to see the ladies that were at the front desk with Next Gen Climate, she's working on trying to get young people involved